Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of the Bad Idea Bros. Today you join me back in the workshop and we will be wrenching on the C110X again. Time is running short to have this thing ready for the Tranz Alpine Scooter Safari, so I really need to finish it today. Now, if you watched the last episode, you would have seen me make a start on this. We got the service done. You can see the drum is fitted to the back of the bike and the handguards are on the handlebars. Today is continuing on from that. We need to give the chain a service. It is filthy, so we'll give it a clean and a lubrication, and then I will do the adjustment. And we also really need to give the bike itself a clean. So we'll get those things done. I'm going to take it for a bit of a shakedown ride out to a local car wash so I can give it a bit of a degrease and get the water blast onto this thing, because there is some really caked up oil and grime on this. So guys, that's what we'll be doing, and there's no time like the present, so let's get into this thing. Well guys, that was obviously nice and simple. We just had the two 10mm bolts to pull out of the mounts for the chain guard there, and that's given us access to the chain. Now, you might have seen on the Thursday short episode that we did Will's one of these, and it was really, really loose and really, really filthy. So I was expecting the similar sort of thing for mine. But in all honesty, it's not too bad. It's the chain is actually within spec for adjustment, so that's definitely a win. The sprocket is quite worn. It looks like it's got a ridge on it, but that's actually just grease and crap. It's filthy, so I'm definitely going to have to give it a clean. But the chain guard itself, inside that, it's a bit grubby, but it's nowhere near as bad as Will's was. So we're winning. There is a bit more grime on there than I'd like, so I don't think I'm going to bother trying to clean it up with a degreaser and a brush on the floor. I think I'm just going to take it straight to the car wash. We'll hit it with the degreaser there and the pressure washer. That's going to be so much quicker and easier than me trying to do it by hand. So guys, I'll throw some gear on and we'll take this thing for a run. Alright guys, so we're actually testing a couple of things on this ride whilst we're en route to the car wash. Obviously in the first video I mentioned that we don't have the bar weights on these anymore, just because we've lost one of them. Doesn't seem too bad. I do notice a little bit more vibration in the handlebars, but it's not so much as to become an issue. So that's going to be good enough. These handguards, they are actually blocking a considerable amount of wind, so that's also doing a good job. And not that you can see on camera, but the plastic bucket that I've got behind me, I tried to put it on in a fashion so that it wouldn't inhibit my seating position whilst on the bike, and I've gotten quite lucky because where it sits, it makes the perfect backrest. There are a few vibrations and stuff through it. It's a plastic drum, it's going to resonate, that's just going to be how it is. But I don't know, perhaps I might be able to find a pool noodle or something like that to throw on it as a bit of cushioning. But all going well so far guys. We seem to be winning with the modifications that I've made, or repairs, whatever you wish to call them. We're going to push on to the car wash. Alright, always get a bit nervous after a bike's been hosed down if it's going to start or not. First time, no problems. Alright, let's hope for no misfires on the way home. Going to have to use a bit of caution, spraying that degreaser around then, and obviously the... Where are we? What are you doing? What are you doing? Dude, come on. Christchurch City Council, good job. Wow. Anyway guys, as I was saying before I got rudely cut off by the gentleman in the Christchurch City Council vehicle, we will have to be using a bit of caution because our rear tyre will be slippery after washing the bike, as will the front. So, we'll make the ride home and we'll see you in the workshop. Alright guys, so the ride home was very uneventful, no problems there at all, and I am very pleased with how this has actually come up, and the fact that it's got the gold DID chain on it is an absolute win. I'll see if I can find a before and after photo because it might not show, but the change is genuinely quite dramatic. But anyway guys, we're going to push forward. I need to give the bike a bit of a dry off with the chamois, just because we've obviously water blasted the buggery out of it. And once I've done that, I've got a quick polish that I'll hit it with. We will get the cut and polish in and just see if I can get these marks off. It's probably more noticeable on the white. It's obviously from the boot marks of people, well, the postie getting on and off this thing. So not super exciting, but it's a job that I do want to do to try and improve the look of the bike. So let's roll the time lapse. There we have it guys, that's all the jobs done that I've needed to for the bike. So we obviously gave everything a once over, and you guys might be wondering why I'm going to the effort of actually cleaning this bike while there's other things to do. Well, it's a simple answer to that question, which is I like to clean them and inspect them as I go. So while you're cleaning it, you're actually putting your hands on most parts of the bike that you might not actually look at in a normal situation. So it's always good practice just to give the bike a once over, and that gives you a closer look at a few more components that you might not be seeing in the normal situation. But guys, I'm really happy with how the bike's looking. It's actually come up pretty well. The plastics are a little rough, but you know, without really removing them and digging into them, we're not going to get them much better. All the chrome work came up really well. You would have seen me polishing the exhaust guard there and also the wheels, so super happy with that. But guys, I think I might take this thing on a quick shakedown ride. I'm not expecting any problems, but it's always a good excuse to go out and do some Ks. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so you join me back on the road and we're going to give the Postie a bit of a shakedown. As I mentioned before, I'm not expecting any real issues. This is more just to see how she is in the hills. So we're currently heading, well, towards where we need to be. You might be able to see the hills in the distance, the Port Hills of Christchurch there. So the plan is to basically follow this road along. That'll deposit us at the Littleton Tunnel, which will go through there, swing a right, and then take some of the twisty tarmac up over Dyers Pass Road. So nothing too demanding, but it should be an interesting shakedown for how the wee bike goes, considering that the next one will see us trying to ride over Arthur's Pass with the Tranz Alpine Scooter Safari. But guys, let's push on and see how this goes. Alright guys, Littleton Tunnel. Don't really have a noisy enough bike to give a tunnel blast, unfortunately. And there is the light of the other side, on which I believe is New Zealand's longest tunnel. I could be wrong, but I'll check that to confirm. Alright. Round towards Governor's Bay we go. Alright guys, here we are. This will be the first real test in the hills. So far everything's been pretty flat and twisty. That's third gear. It's still slightly accelerating. We're not bogging out yet. 50 kilometers an hour, third gear. It's a reasonably steep incline, so it's about what I'd expect. We are wide open throttle, so I've got no more to give. All I can do is kick back to second, but I don't really want to thrash the bike like that if I don't have to. If we get to 40, I'll be back to second though. It's starting to look likely. Second gear. Gets us back up to pretty much 50. We're in third again. It's got a bit of momentum this time. We're actually pulling. Kind of. Oh man. Yeah, the Safari's going to be a slow one. Climbing up some of those hills over Arthur's Pass. We'll be back to 40 kilometers an hour, I'd say. I'm foreseeing a lot of second and third gear shuffling for me on this Safari. Second was a little taller. It'd be alright. Third doesn't quite have the pull. Just gonna let it labour over this last bit of the crest in third and just see what happens. Ooh, I can feel it starting to bog down. Not the end of the world though. Alright, well I'm pretty pleased with that. It's certainly not going to break any land speed records, but that's not really the point of the Safari. The motor does pull up the hills okay. Like I said, there is a lot of kicking back between third and second, but that's not really that big of a deal. As long as we can maintain about 40 or 50 kilometers an hour, we should be fine. We've got some more twisty stuff to follow back down into the city. It looks like this silver car in front is going to inhibit my fun, but at least the views are grand. Okay guys, so that's gone about as well as I could have hoped. The wee bike rides pretty smoothly. Gears change the way they should. It's a little sluggish up hills, a lot of second and third gear, but that's kind of what I was expecting. It's definitely not a powerhouse. For the amount of Ks that it's got, it's surprisingly nice. Like, it rides quite well. There is a bit of an oily smell still, so it's either burning a bit of oil coming out the exhaust, or it does have a minor leak. So I might give that a little bit of a look off camera. But guys, I'm out of time. I need to get this thing tucked away in the shed and packed up properly for the Tranz Alpine Scooter Safari. And the current forecast is for snow. So that's going to be an interesting one. But guys, as always, we thank you for following along, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.